Drones are pretty useful. Take out this one found an illegal marijuana plantation. Sometimes, though, they also capture weird things like this. First, though, a hopeful story. Missing Senior. We know that sometimes drones are used in search of missing people. Usually, we hear this happen when there are hikers who have yet to come home. However, this is the first time I've heard a drone help look for a missing pensioner. Peter Pugh, 75, disappeared during a walk with his family along Brancaster Beach on a Saturday in 2018 around 5:10 p.m. When the family realized he was nowhere to be seen, they called the police. Norfolk cops, assisted by the HM Coast Guard and other services, searched throughout the night for the senior. They only found him about a day later when a Norfolk police drone, which Sergeant Danny Leach piloted, spotted Mr. Pugh waist-deep in water at a marsh. Swiftly, the men came to his aid and had him airlifted to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Kings Lynn, where he was treated for hypothermia and wounds on his arms and legs. Thankfully, Mr. Pugh was able to make a full recovery. Gotta be one harrowing experience, but thanks to modern technology, he was saved. Future of policing. Some time ago, Atlanta mourned the loss of a great actor. Thomas Jefferson Byrd, a nominee for the Tony Award for Best Featured Actor in a Play, was found dead on October 3, 2020, with multiple gunshot wounds on his back. He was around 70 years old, and nobody knew what had happened or if there was any bad blood, aside from, the gunshot wounds. But homicide detectives worked hard to determine the circumstances surrounding the incident. Soon, they were able to pinpoint the crime to one man. And not only that, the police knew where he lived too. Instead of buzzing down the 30-year-old's apartment while clad in bulletproof vests and guns, the police opted for a far safer method: drone surveillance. Yeah, you heard that right. After breaking the perp's home lock, the police piloted a drone inside the home to locate where the suspect was. It's a little nerve-wracking to watch, but the whole ordeal ended peacefully. The suspect didn't fight back, and in fact he actually turned himself in, likely bothered by the unfamiliar noise the drone was making inside his apartment. Pretty unorthodox, but very effective. World's first drone base jump. We're familiar with base jumping, but are we familiar with drone base jumping? Sounds impossible, right? Well, it's not, and a team already performed the world's first drone base jump. Let's get something out of the way first. We're not talking about jumping off of a standard drone. We're talking about a powerful drone that measures 3.2 square meters and sports 16 rotors. It weighs 70 kilograms and can lift things that can be as heavy as 200 kilograms. Aerones, a Latvian tech company, created it. Before the stunt, the company made sure to exhaust any and all efforts to make sure that the jumper would remain safe at all times. They performed tests, modifications, and more. On the day itself, everything was set. All that was left to do was complete the stunt, and you know what? They did it. The drone successfully lifted the driver 330 meters into the air. Everybody cheered as he let go and deployed his parachute. It was a massive success. Not only did they do a world first, but they probably started a brand new sport and likely paved the way for drone transportation. Huge desert plantation. Been a rise in numbers of illegal marijuana farms, and yes, I know what I'm saying there. I don't think authorities were quite prepared for this, though. Mexican soldiers found a vast marijuana plantation that covered almost 120 hectares. It's 4 times bigger than the previous one authorities discovered in North Chihuahua. Also, get this, they wouldn't have noticed it if it hadn't been for a drone flying around the desert. Yeah, while flying across the Baja California desert, more than 250 kilometers south of Tijuana, the drone recorded a huge backlot. Turns out it was a black screen cloth covering the marijuana plants, which made the entire operation difficult to detect. At least until the drone footage came through, of course. When soldiers arrived at the site, they discovered the plants to be as high as 2.5 meters. Pretty insane considering the average height of one is 1.5. General Duarte said in his estimate that there is about $152 million worth of marijuana there, all of which the military burned to the ground. Guys, that's probably not the best idea. That's sort of what you do with that stuff. Who am I to question the army? Pripyat Footage. No one knows what goes on within the containment zone anymore. Tourists can visit the site for a minimal period. That's not enough time to fully immerse themselves in the ghostly city. Thankfully, though, we're closer to seeing what life was like within those walls before the nuclear disaster happened through drone technology. It's almost like an eerie reminder of how life was like decades ago before 50,000 people were evacuated. Big buildings within a forest full of trees, classrooms with chalk writing still on the board, abandoned bumper cars that never finished their rides. It's also barren, as though the apocalypse hit this city millennia before an event like this is remotely due. Alas, though, what's the reality of the place now? Currently, its only residents are radioactive animals, some wild, while some were abandoned pets during the mass evacuation efforts. Only time can tell if one day this area can be restored. For now, though, it's just a place of bad memories, and a great inspiration for video games. Museum Sinkhole. Many car lovers' hearts stopped for a moment when news broke out that 8 vintage Corvettes were swallowed by a sinkhole that formed under the National Corvette Museum. In 2014, motion detectors inside the National Corvette Museum were going off. Confused and afraid, the staff called the police. Nobody really knew what was happening, but when the emergency personnel dispatched to the location arrived, they discovered the culprit. A 40-foot wide sinkhole that was 30 feet deep was found, and in said hole were 8 rare Corvettes they had on display. The oldest of the bunch was a 1962 black Corvette. The latest that they had was a 2009 ZR1, dubbed Blue Devil, which was loaned from General Motors in the car show. Seeing the damage, the staff decided to move 20 cars away from the dome in case of another collapse. Andrea Hales, communications manager at the Bowling Green Corvette plant located near the dome, shared that the sinkhole did not affect the nearby plant. Engineers also determined that the building did not sustain any structural damage from the collapse. Vanuatu Volcanoes. Back then, we could only imagine what the inside of a crater looked like. For the longest time, I thought they were miles deep of lava starting from the mouth, but it turns out that wasn't really the case. The actual lava opening is much smaller than the mouth of the crater, and I found that out because of drone footage posted on YouTube. That's right, guys. Some people risk flying their drones over volcanoes just so that they, and we by extension, get incredible footage of what's on the inside of a volcano. It's honestly a wonder to me how the fumes didn't break the drone. After all, it's gotta be boiling in there. If not that, I'm curious if there's any damage to its external housing. Whatever the case, I don't think this was something any of us expected to see. Most drones are used for aerial photography of woodlands and beaches, with some used for police work and search and rescue. Honestly, it's just a matter of time before someone invents something heat-resistant enough that can survive being submerged in lava. Now it's time for the day's best pick. Pictures of the paranormal are always blurry, but apparently images with mysterious subjects too? River Mystery. Case in point, a body was found in a submerged car thanks to drone footage submitted to the police. Sure, it does help the cops solve a case, but that doesn't mean it didn't scare the living daylights out of the drone owner. Thankfully though, it's not true crime we're about to talk about. Take a look at this photo. Pretty blurry, am I right? We can't definitively figure out what white thing in the center is. Some say it's a white wolf rushing through the water, others swear it's a statue, while more say it's a brand new cryptid. I think the second option is most likely, but again, we'll never know for sure. Black-Eyed Child. Urban legends and tales of eerie entities are no strangers to us. One such entity is the Black-Eyed Child of Canuck Chase, but usually those are just fun tales, am I right? Chances are that nobody actually believes the stuff. This drone footage might make you change your mind though, or at least have that thought waver. While taking drone footage of Canuck Chase, a YouTuber noticed something odd from the sky, a white dot somewhere in the tree line. Curious, he sent his drone flying lower to the ground to where he estimated the white dot to be. Lo and behold, as soon as he repositioned his drone, there was a figure in white moving amongst the trees. The figure seemed like an extremely tall woman, but we couldn't tell for sure if she's the Lady of Legends as she covers her eyes quickly after noticing the sound. Part of me does hope it's the legend. The alternative is a little heartbreaking. Like, what if it's a kidnapped victim who's been lost after months of being away from home? Food for thought. Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it really works. Tianjin Blast Site. August 12, 2015, a series of explosions rocked the port of Tianjin, China. According to official reports, 173 people died while hundreds, nearing thousands more people were injured. The source of the tragedy? A container storage station at the Binhai New area, where 2 explosions occurred 30 seconds apart, the second of which detonated about 800 tons of ammonium nitrate, which is equivalent to roughly 256 tons of TNT. But what about the fires that were caused by the tragedy? They burned for days, all throughout the weekend, causing 8 more additional explosions 3 days later. It was discovered after a thorough investigation that the devastation happened due to an overheated container of dry nitrocellulose. Hearing this, it wouldn't be surprising what the aftermath was like. Let's take a look at it through drone footage, though. Fires were still perpetuating. Buildings were covered in soot, cars and debris were scattered everywhere as far as the eye could see. Heck, some containers were practically decimated. I hope, as does everyone, that a tragedy like this doesn't happen again. The loss of life was simply too much. See you all next time.